So if it's okay with you, I'm just going to dive into some sort of specifics. Please. So, and you're right, I've got a massive list of questions, which I'm sure there's too many, but let's just see how the conversation flows. So to begin with, what jobs could an assistant take on or help with? What sort of things come under that umbrella?
And this is a really great thing for composers to start thinking about. And I talk to a lot of even experienced composers about this. It's great to start a running list of things that, one, you don't like doing. Let's just call it that. You don't enjoy doing these jobs. These jobs do not bring you joy. They drive you crazy. They make you want to leave the gig. And two, things that are easy to hand off. As a composer considering taking on an assistant, you need to be a lot more cognizant and present in what you're doing every day so you can understand what to start handing off. There's some obvious things like, if you're getting ready for a live recording of something, MIDI cleanup is a big one, copying, basic orchestration. But then there's also like a whole bunch of work that we should be doing as composers that probably most of us at whatever level we're at in our career are ignoring. And that's things like, registering music with your PRO, or who even does this, making sure at the end of the project that you have stems bounced for every cue and that you have a WAV file and that you have an MP3 and then you have them all properly cataloged. I mean, that is a massive job. And Mariana will tell you when she came to work for me, I was like, this needs to be done. I just had a whole pile of music. It needs to be properly bounced. Some of the levels needed to be adjusted. So if I wanted to send it off for like a quick gig, it was good to go. I needed, I was building this very basic spreadsheet. So like whenever she wasn't doing something, she could just go back to that project. So it takes a little bit of thinking about where, everything, and it takes a little organization or more than a little on your part as a composer, but it's, there's so much maintenance work that needs to be done for you to be successful down the line. There's also like chasing your royalties. If you had projects go overseas and they're probably making money somewhere and, your PRO isn't necessarily tracking that kind of thing. So it's maintenance work, right? Also, I will tell you that your assistant will benefit just being in the room with you and seeing how you work. And yeah, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing having someone sit there and watching you work, because creating and composing is a very personal thing. And, and really out of all my assistants, Mariana was the only one that did this, because I had her on a much more full-time basis before the pandemic hit, like 2 months later. But she would be here in my small studio space. And sometimes if I had to create and was just feeling super self-conscious about it, I would be like, sorry, gonna put on headphones, so you're not gonna hear anything. But she still got to see me work. Yeah. And if you've seen any other composer work, you know how interesting that is. Like, it's like long and quiet, but it's not boring. It's fascinating to see people's creative process. That's just a big part of learning. And the other point I want to make before I move on, and sorry, I'll try and keep my answers shorter, Justine, but I really believe, in addition to having assistant being a good thing for you as a composer, I really believe it's part of the mentorship process and the process of raising people in your community up. So it's not just something that can help you as a composer, but I really feel like it's I would say like it's important for composers in that community to take assistance, because this is the best way to bring people up and give them more opportunities. So I think it's something that everyone should consider taking on at some stage.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything that you've said, particularly about it being, a kind of two-way street.